Connecticut's #1 local news. This is Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us here today. It is Monday, July 25th. I'm Caitlin Francis. We are, of course, on top of several stories for you, but first, we're going to send things over to meteorologist Lauren Richardson for a check on our early warning weather alert, because we are in alert mode once again, Lauren, not necessarily because of the heat, even though it is hot and humid.
Yes.
But because of the storms.
The storms, yeah, we're tracking the potential, Caitlin, for some strong to severe storms as we head towards this afternoon. So our main concerns, and I've been mentioning it this morning, but we could see the potential for some strong damaging wind gusts with this storm. We could also see some flash flooding. Downpours might come down pretty quickly. And then also we can't rule out isolated hail, and even an isolated tornado is possible. So let's check in on that alert graphic. And yes, we're expecting this anytime from noon to 10 p.m. This is all ahead of a cold front. So this is what is going to bring and fire up some of these storms for us. So I think this morning too, we might see a couple spot showers later on in the morning. But yes, the entire state in that strong to severe threat, that level 2 slight risk. So that's never a good sign. And here's a look at our headlines. Very humid out there. It's very sticky out there, very humid. Tropical dew points in the 70s. And then it's going to be nice after this cold front pushes through with these storms. We're going to feel more comfortable for Tuesday and Wednesday. That's the good news. Some relief from that humidity. And we did have that 6-day heat wave. Today we may potentially get to 90 degrees as our high, but right now we're forecasting highs in the upper 80s. But if that does happen, we'll be on day 7 of our heat wave. All right, our early warning futurecast, you can see around 10 a.m. this morning. Once again, maybe a spot shower here or there. I think around 11 noon, we'll start to see maybe a couple isolated storms that could pop up and pass through from west to east. And then you could actually see around 2 o'clock p.m. We're seeing some more of those storms, and especially in eastern Connecticut too. It's possible to see a good amount of rainfall from this system. Now, this specific model, the graph is forecasting a good amount of rain. Some of the other models are forecasting maybe a half an inch. So it really does depend. But as we head towards tonight, you can see some of those scattered storms still pushing through until maybe about 9-10 o'clock. And then by then, we're just looking at some very light showers. And then by tomorrow morning, the skies are really going to clear out. It's going to feel much more comfortable. Dew points will drop back into the 50s. So that's a pleasant feel. And that's going to continue as we head through Tuesday and Wednesday. Also looking like a really nice day to get outside, and temperatures will be back in the 80s. So checking in on our drought monitor. Yes, we are still in a moderate drought for most of the state and abnormally dry as well. So we really do need this rainfall, and this is maybe a little bit overdone too, that some areas could get more than 2 inches of rain. But I do think at least areas will get an inch. Some areas in eastern Connecticut, you can see from this futurecast, it shows a pretty good amount of rainfall, and some of the other models once again don't show as much. Here's a look at our satellite radar. You can see to the northwest of us, we've got some storms firing up in areas of upstate New York and Vermont and New Hampshire and Pennsylvania. So that is the line that is going to continue to move towards us. And this is going to break apart a little bit this morning as it moves towards us. But then we've got another line once again ahead of that cold front that's really going to impact us through today. Of course, you want to download the WFSB weather app. You can keep updated by those hour-to-hour forecasts, and also our interactive radar. So you can actually see a mix of sun and clouds out there in Torrington and New Haven right now too, looking pretty bright, but it is once again very steamy and toasty out there. Temperatures now 81 degrees in Hartford, 80 in Windsor Locks, 76 in Putnam. Those dew point values in the 70s across our entire state. And then those wind speeds, we've got a southerly wind that is pumping in some of that milder air. So our early warning pinpoint Doppler for now, we're scanning nice and dry. Of course, we're going to be keeping a close eye on that as we head through today. Thursday into Friday, humid conditions, temperatures back in the upper 80s, and we are tracking the potential for some storms and maybe some showers as we head towards Thursday evening into Friday morning. The good news is after that humidity returns, it drops once again for the weekend. Saturday, Sunday, both looking fantastic right now. Temperatures back in the mid 80s and a good amount of sunshine, comfortable humidity. And yes, once again today, just stay tuned to WFSB. We'll be bringing you the latest, especially this afternoon, with that potential for those strong to severe storms. Caitlin?
All right, thanks, Lauren. Good day for that Channel 3 weather app. Breaking news now out of Stafford. State police say a man died in a crash over the weekend there. We're going to take you to Pinpoint News Tracker, where it's going to show you exactly where that happened. We'll get to that in just a second. But that car was heading south on Furnace Avenue. It skidded off the roadway and crashed into two poles. The driver, 40-year-old Luis Aguilar Chiron, was pronounced dead on the scene, and police are still investigating. Let's get to some more information now. In Hartford, police there are investigating a double shooting that happened on Seamus Street there. They got the call late last night, just after 11:30. Officials responded to the scene and found a man in his 30s who had been shot multiple times. Just moments later, another victim, a man in his 40s, arrived at an area hospital also with gunshot wounds. Officials have been canvassing three-block radius there since early this morning and have Lazada Park taped off. They are trying to find some answers now. If you have any information, you're asked to call Hartford Police. Now into breaking news. Overnight out of Middletown, fire officials are trying to figure out what caused an attic to burst into flames. You can see that photo here on your screen. The Middletown Fire Department says they were called to the scene on Old Mill Road about 12:30. Now, thankfully, everyone who was in the home did make it out safely. A second alarm was called as a precaution due to extreme heat. The fire marshal was still on scene this morning investigating. In Easthampton, there will be a public hearing later this evening at the town hall to discuss whether or not the school board should hire more armed security officers. It's a choice that would address the ever-present public interest in school security. The board says they want opinions from parents who have kids younger than high school age, as the high school already has an armed officer on location. So this week, the board will also send out a survey to parents of students in pre-K through 8th grade, asking how they feel about hiring additional security officers. Those responses will be made available to the public. Also happening today, jury selection for the Texas lawsuit against conspiracy theorist Alex Jones begins this morning in Austin. Jones has already been found liable for his lies about the Sandy Hook shooting that killed 20 first graders and 6 educators back in 2012. Now the courts have to decide how much Jones will have to pay the families of the victims. Jury selection for that case in Waterbury begins next week. All right, in case you missed it last night, we're taking a look at a photo here from a garage fire in Cheshire. The town there, fire crews responded to the photo. You can see just how intense those flames were. Several crews were called in to help fight the fire. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Now on to an update. The ongoing baby formula shortage. Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro will hold a virtual news conference later this morning to discuss the status of the shortage. She had recently asked families to send photos of formula shelves to document what they're seeing and which communities need the most help. DeLauro will also talk about safety standards for the food we consume as part of the recently introduced Food Safety Administration Act. Senator Richard Blumenthal will be at Dunkin' Donuts Park this morning at 11 o'clock to challenge the Major League Baseball's antitrust exemption that he says negatively affects minor league teams like the Hartford Yard Goats. Those exemptions restrict pay and competition for minor league teams. They've been in place for the last 100 years. The Senate Judiciary Committee is now re-examining all of those exemptions. Thanks so much for tuning in here to Eyewitness News. Remember, you can get your news and weather updates anytime on the Channel 3 app. Have a great day. Keep that Channel 3 weather app handy as well.